Guys, let's talk about New York. It's got issues beyond issues. People think five finger discount means free and everything is theirs, included everyone's life.
The NYPD is looking for several suspects in a drugstore burglary pattern.
Police say the suspects were involved in 8 different incidents where they tried to break into pharmacies by breaking their glass doors or rolling down those heavy security gates.
Great, just what we need, a new robbery pattern targeting pharmacies in New York, many of which...
If you're doing this, you're completely evil. Robbing stores is going to raise prices, or you will no longer... Essentially, these robbers suddenly need the medicine. How are they going to get the medicine if the store is no longer in their area? Because they stole everything. Now the store has to close. And tell me, how is the store going to be open if there is no medicine? Okay, you just robbed the store, but now the guy down the street needs his pills. You just stole everything. You're the most evilest, twisted man ever has existed if you ever did this. And you will have a hard time in the future because you will suddenly need the meds too.
Which are having problems staying open. With Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid closing a combined 40 locations in 2024 alone, leaving New York with about half the number of pharmacies it had just 10 years ago. Before our leaders thought it would be a good idea to stop sending thieves to jail where they belong.
We've spoken to several.
If you're a thief, you should go to prison and also have to pay back once you get out of prison. I recommend all the money you have stolen be put against your money you have had. So let's say you do manage to get big on YouTube for some odd reason, you would have to pay back every single penny you have stolen after you get released. You're gonna have a lien on your account, so you're only gonna, even if you make $1 million, let's say you were able to make $100,000 one year, you'll only, let's say you were able to make that much, you're gonna have to pay extra. You will have enough money like anyone who's working at McDonald's, because all the money on the top of your money is going to go straight to paying for the bills. And also all the damages you occur. It's not free money.
Managers at various drugstores around New York City, though none would go on camera, all tell us they've seen an increase in thefts.
Millions of dollars in...
And the funny thing is they're not going to be able to catch the people because they're smart thieves. But who knows who's watching.
Stolen goods seized in Queens and put on display for the cameras. The thieves had an eye for cosmetics, beauty products, designer clothing, and accessories.
You know the funny thing is, the thieves are thinking they're getting away with it. Eventually they're probably going to get busted because they're using cell phones. The government tracks you through your cell phone chat. The FBI is going to find you. You're stealing from big companies. You think they're not checking your cell phones? You send a text message through your cell phone, they will automatically look through all of it. If you're really, really needed, you say a nice amount of traffic, they're going to pinpoint that and pinpoint you and send you in a nice bill.
The shoplifting concerns are part of a growing trend in the city, but due to current laws, many of those arrested were released back on the streets to do it again.
Okay, that's bull. The thief just walked out idly because it's okay as long as you steal so much. This is why you fund the police. Do you want to have a pharmacy in town? If my government tells me I'm going to defund the police, I vote them out. I'll vote I'll vote who will fund the police. I will vote them automatically in. Because if they're going to fund the police, I will take that. Because I want to be able to go to the store and pick my meds. I personally take meds every day. And no, I'm not going to say what kind they are. But I cannot get them at Walmart. I can't get them over the counter. And I have to take them every day. And they also have to be okayed by the doctor. If I could, I would get off of them.
This man just came in, grabbed a whole bunch of makeup stuff that was on the side, and just ran out. Security tried to stop him, but he was already gone.
Rafael and Sean Martez have been getting their prescriptions filled at this Walgreens for at least a year. They believe shoplifting played a role in the store's closure.
They have it locked up because sometimes they get boosters that come in there and steal their stuff.
I don't know if they're stealing it from here or they're stealing it from another place to sell it here.
These plexiglass screens and all these other inconveniences creates additional friction, and friction is the death of retail.
And it's like nothing is being done.
If you have to lock up everything, okay, I'm going to tell you guys, since some of you probably live in a big city, like everything's locked up. The only things that are locked up in my local Walmart is very little, actually. video games, some adult rated stuff, I'm not gonna say, and perfume. That's all it's locked up. We don't have to tell a clerk to get us dish soap or that, any of that. We could just grab it from the counter. We can grab it and go to the cashier register and pay for it like any normal human. We don't have to go through that mess because they're stealing everything. Now you're literally going to have to ask a clerk to open that cabinet to get you the item. You can blame thieves. You can blame the thievery and your leaders of New York or the cities who do it. You can blame them because they're the problem. Because they don't want to give money to the police. They don't want to put laws in which will protect you. It's their fault. We pay taxes to pay for our police. Do you want to lose everything? Do whatever you want. If you want to vote for a guy who's going to make it so you're going to have to move out your city, do so. Remember, he's just going to order his stuff online and have it brought to him. So he doesn't care about you.
So do you feel like it's getting bolder?
Yeah, it definitely is getting bolder.
And the funny thing is, some of these cities are controlled by Democrats. And even the Democrats and Republicans do this. I am on the other side. But I do vote.
So, nearly half of New York City's drugstores have disappeared over the last decade as retail theft continues running rampant. But what nobody's talking about is all of these pharmacy closures. They're happening 1 year after our leaders promised to get tough on shoplifting, a promise many businesses are still waiting for them to keep. And sadly, if you walk through any pharmacy in town, you'll be greeted with all the signs that the high crime environment afflicting our stores is here to stay, with locations throughout New York locking up their products because here we won't lock up our criminals. Because stealing here's been decriminalized, making New York...
And that's the funny thing is, where I live, I can go to a mom and pop store, gas station, it's not locked up. We have so low of we do not have very much thievery where I live. We're not a big city. We're technically a city where I live. But we have a Walmart, we have gas stations, we have big businesses here. But I don't hear the cops running around like crazy. I do see them every so often. But that's because I drive an actual vehicle.
New York, a breeding ground for professional criminals who take things that aren't theirs and then sell them on the internet or on the side of the street somewhere. Perpetually funding illegal retail arbitrage businesses that will exist as long as shoplifting here remains a non-jailable misdemeanor, provided it's peaceful shop.
If you steal, you're a thief. You're a criminal.
Lifting that doesn't escalate to a physical altercation with another person, as for some reason our criminal sympathizer leaders don't think destroying security barriers or cutting security tags counts as violent behavior. And that brings us to the real reason why New York is losing so many
I worked at Walmart. If someone say I got this item and the Walmart employee did not know how to take off the security tag, I call bull, because I can take it off with ease and I have done hundreds of them. No. I never sold a single thing. I've never sold even one item. The reason why, because I had to do it part of my job to like scan the products, or even though there's times I found a product which didn't even have the security stuff on it, I actually spent my own time when I was working and put the stuff on real quick and then put it on the shelf. When people did it, put it on. I actually spent the time because I knew what to look for, what to put on, and how to operate everything. I actually spent the time. And then people got in trouble for not doing it. Because I had to do it. And I'm not even I'm not even a leader of the group. I'm a minion, you say, or at least Walmart when I was working.
Pharmacies, leaving many neighborhoods without a viable alternative to get things like prescription medication or everyday basic items. Many of these businesses were already struggling for a variety of reasons, and as retail theft continues to creep up, it erodes whatever was left in the store's margins, leaving them no choice but to shut down. Something Walgreens alone did 22 times last year, leaving it with just 189 locations left in New York. However, as you're about to see, retail theft isn't just a problem for pharmacies that end up closing. It also raises the cost of living for every New Yorker, even those who already buy everything online from places like Amazon, revealing that as criminals loot and destroy these businesses, they're actually destroying New York City itself.
If you steal an item, you just jack the prices up in that store. So when you have to go back and actually buy food, you might not be able to buy it for the price you were going to buy it for, because now all the prices are going up. all you're doing is hurting yourself. And anyone who votes, if your leaders say we're going to be tough on crime, if they don't, protest peacefully by calling them and telling them to get onto it. Call your representatives in that city and tell them, get to it. And if you have to, every day, till they get to it. Remind them, you're not staying in office.
So New
And please do not threaten them. That'll get you nowhere.
York City has obviously got a lot of former retail storefronts that have been shut down. But if you want to see what out of control retail theft is really doing to the city, take a look at the stores that are still open. Like this one, where pretty much everything is locked up behind plexiglass, except for low demand products nobody's buying right now in New York, like sunscreen. Look at this, even the picture of the product that is here so you don't steal the actual product.
And if you want a low demand, right now it's winter outside. That's why it's low demand. No one needs it.
Even it's locked up so you don't steal the picture. But on top of all this,
they have to lock up the picture. That's how bad it is.
In-store security, you'll also see something else, a blinking camera array on top of this CVS with flashing lights meant to scare criminals into thinking the police could be inside or at least watching. But sadly, none of this security is having the intended effect because our stores are still shutting down.
It's terrible what's going on.
Raphael and Sean Martez have been getting...
I'll put his description of his video in the description to get to his video.
Their prescriptions filled at this Walgreens for at least a year. They believe shoplifting played a role in the store's closure.
I have seen it happen right in front of my face. This man just came in, grabbed a whole bunch of makeup stuff that was on the side, and just ran out. Security.
So, as you can tell from all this security plastic, these places are getting robbed constantly, sometimes right in front of paying customers. And look at all the cracks around this product locker here on this Tide. It's almost as if somebody tried to tamper with this and break through it to get at the products underneath.
Like someone decided to take a hammer and start ripping it out.
And before we get into the unstoppable proportions this crime wave has now reached, look at who the real victims are from all this stealing. Now, of course, the store itself is a victim of crime, obviously, but
the regular citizens who are not thieves are the victims.
The people who live near.
And the funny thing is, the thieves, their family members are the victim. Their of the thieves of all the family members are the victims because they're just hurting them too, because they have to live in this place. They're just hurting themselves.
Place like this, they're the ones that suffer the most because after a store like this is gone, where do they go?
And the funny thing is, where's the thief going to be able to steal when they run out of stores?
To get the things they need and have relied on buying from it on a weekly basis. And what about the people that work at a place like this? Once it's gone, where are they going to work? Now, yes, every time a store like this shuts down over crime, the brand always says that they'll do everything they can to redeploy their workforce to other locations. But that just hurts everybody because now the people who work at those other locations are going to have less hours because there's now a surplus of workers. If the workers that were at a store that closed can even get to whatever location they've been redeployed to. But even if the workers
or move to another city because the thieves stole everything and now they have to move across the country.
Can get to the new location, so can the criminals. In fact, they ride around on the subway here for free because we don't care about fare evasion either. And that's the real problem here, because if customers need a new store to shop at and workers need a new store to work at, criminals, they're going to need a new store to steal from, and everybody's going to end up at whatever store is still hanging on. And hanging on is definitely the best way to describe it. After one Upper East Side pharmacy closed, the sole surviving location said that they were getting robbed once an hour. And as you're about to see, closing stores is not going to put a stop to New York City's theft problems at all. In fact, it's only going to make it worse.
Another guy, while he was chasing him, stole candy.
And it's like nothing is being done.
So do you feel like it's getting bolder?
Yeah, it definitely is getting bolder.
Walgreens said only economic headwinds are making it too difficult to cover.
So the reason it seems like theft is getting more out of control and thieves are getting bolder and more brazen is because they have to. You've got the same number of criminals, but now you've got fewer stores to steal from. Like this CVS right here, its theft problems definitely got worse after the Walgreens, which was across the street, shut down. When that happened, any crime that was taking place split between the two stores now all has to happen at just one store. And you can tell from the lack of rust and dings in the paint on these cabinets that many of them are a recent installation here. And not only are many of these
them are brand new. I've seen when I was working for Walmart, they were installing stuff for controllers for PS4s where they put cabinet because people were taking them.
These aisles completely walled off on both sides. You've also got that blinking security camera. The store's literally doing everything it can to deter crime. And that's because any surviving store is under more pressure now than it's ever been. And there's no way out from any of this. Unless, of course, laws were to be passed that made crime again. But since that's not happening, every single thing you see here are the last.
The law has to be, if you steal, you go to prison, and you might not be able to work very good afterwards.
Last moves of a store that probably won't be here forever. But you know, the real problem is
basically the law needs basically a felony if you steal. If you get a really bad punishment where you literally can't work nowhere, and you steal like this much, you suddenly will decide it's not worth me doing this, because what I'm going to do when I get old, I can't work nowhere. No one's going to hire me. And magically, no one steals anymore. Because we have that in where I live, basics. The thieves kind of don't want to steal that much because they kind of know they won't be able to find a job.
Is all of this product security, it doesn't just deter thieves, it also deters customers.
These plexiglass screens and all these other inconveniences that are added to customers who are simply there to make a purchase creates additional friction, and friction is the death of retail.
Walgreens said in a statement,
friction is the death of retail. He's 100% right, and if it takes longer to buy things in a physical store, less people are going to put up with that. But it's not just the inconvenience factor that's a big deal here. All this security costs money. It's not free, because every time somebody wants to buy something, they need a human to help them get it, and that costs money. And that money can only come from one place. Just look at the price of this deodorant. It's absolutely expensive, almost $20, when a 3-pack of the exact same stuff costs $23 on Amazon right now. That's crazy. And if prices are going up and convenience is going down, what reason is there to even shop in a physical store anymore? You'd literally have to be desperate for some overpriced item and need it immediately for some sudden purpose to even go into one of these places. But if things are 3 times the price of what you can get them for on the internet, people are going to change their habits, and most people are. They're willing to wait a couple of days to get their dryer sheets. Just order your dryer sheets ahead of time. That way you don't have to run out and then come into a store and pay more than you'd pay on the internet. However, the internet is a double-edged sword, because it's both the cure for in-store theft and the cause of in-store theft in many cases. Because although you can't steal these cleaning products from Amazon as it's online, someone else could steal them from a place like this and then resell them back to you. And that is the whole reason stores like this, no matter how well guarded they are, may not have a whole lot of time left, at least in this city.
One thing I would do is move out of New York. I don't see a reason to live in New York. I would recommend a town where where you can get a job, live nicely, do stuff you need to do, and get a good job. Just don't live in these cities. I almost don't recommend people living in cities at this point. There's just too much crime. But then what am I? I'm just a guy on the internet.
So this right here behind me is probably the most well-guarded Walgreens in the entire city. Not only does it have security cameras, but we're in a brand new train station, which is being patrolled by National Guard troops, and exits are limited. You can't just run out of this place right through this massive front door and then be on the street. No, you're still in a facility which is being monitored. But even though you'll see a few more free-range products on the shelves of this particular store compared to the CVS we were just in, there is still a lot of progressive plexiglass in here, that's for sure. Because sadly, even a place like this is not immune to theft.
As long as there are resale markets that are not held accountable for the sale of stolen goods, then this kind of conduct is only going to get worse.
Here's how it works. A criminal network hires an individual or crew called boosters. After robbing a retailer, they turn over the stolen goods to someone waiting nearby called a fence. The fence then takes the haul to a home or warehouse where a cleaner removes anti-theft devices or marks.
So there's a couple angles to this online retail theft component. The first angle is that it makes it very easy for anybody to say that they have a product and to list it for sale and to offload it. And the second problem is that these companies like Amazon benefit whenever something.
And yeah, the thieves will be able to make money because they're taking it, so they won't have to mark it up too high, and they can undercut Amazon and then basically cause you to go not as much.
Is sold on their site, they take a cut. And some people say that's why they aren't doing more to get rid of illegal products from their sites. However, even though Amazon and eBay benefit from the sale of anything, no matter where it's from, it's not the fault of these sites that New York has a massive retail theft problem. A problem which is so bad we've even got to lock up our ice cream with a massive padlock. Look at the size of this thing. Now, of course, you can't sell ice cream online, but there's another place.
When I go to the store, I can just open up the freezer and grab my ice cream. I only have to ask the employees at Walmart a few times if it's something major. Most of the items I bought, actually almost all of them, on a day-to-day basis, I don't have to ask a single one. I don't have to ask a single person, do I need a customer, someone to go over there. I have went into many times where I've gone to Walmart, walked in, bought all my stuff, walked out, did not even talk to one employee. Not even one. I pretty much did my stuff, gone out in less than half an hour. No, less than 20 minutes. And that includes showing up to the store.
Place you can sell it in New York City, which is why this stuff too is locked up, revealing that it is not the fault of the internet alone that New York has a $4.4 billion shoplifting economy. But before we get into the other ways stolen products are offloaded in this city that is unique to it, it's important to understand that even if Amazon stamped out every illegal listing on their entire site, this stuff, it would still get taken and it would still end up somewhere else because
they'll steal it from your doorstep, literally. You're getting a package in from Amazon. It's going to be stolen from your doorstep.
People who steal want money. And even though Amazon and eBay probably should be doing more to keep the sale of illicit goods from taking place on their platforms, the real problem is places like New York aren't doing enough to stop criminals from taking things in the first place. Here's an example of a serial shoplifter with over 100 arrests. How is this even allowed to happen? How is somebody allowed to commit 100 crimes?
If that had happened in our town, he'd be arrested and basically already prosecuted. I have met a bunch of people who were in jail at one time. No, I have never been in jail once. I had to work with them on a different job I was working with. Even they hated the object that they became a nupper afterwards because their life got turned upside down. And they don't make hardly anything. They actually had to work even harder after they became a nupper because of the prison system, because they no longer ever can work at a job I could.
Crimes and still be walking around on the streets. And how are we supposed to expect this person to learn something the 101st time they get arrested that they didn't learn the other 100 times? We're not. And criminals like this are the real reason New York has an out-of-control crime problem. Now, that doesn't mean Amazon is innocent. After all, the more products that are locked up in stores, the more people who will just go online to buy from them. But the reality here is that in New York, you've got a lot of places to offload something that you took and want to resell, and the city's not doing anything about it.
Millions of dollars in stolen goods seized in Queens and put on display for the cameras. The thieves had an eye for cosmetics, beauty products, designer clothing.
The defendants utilized social media, Instagram, and other online resources to advertise for the stolen goods for sale both here and for abroad.
Thousands of...
So here we've got a multi-million-dollar crime ring which was busted towards the end of last year. And they didn't just sell on Amazon. They sold on pretty much every website, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. And they also sold things physically here in New York and physically in other countries. Not to mention, you've also got people selling things on blankets on the sides of the road throughout New York. Police see this stuff happening. They walk right by. Nothing gets done about it. It's not even legal to do that without a license. And the sad reality is that New York is just...
That's bad. Very, very bad. I see a guy doing that, selling stuff on the side of the road. If it ever happened to you in my area or in this state, it probably would be arrested. That's the thing is, if your cops literally have their hands tied, your government who's running the country in that area needs to be fired.
Such a big place with so many people living in it that anybody who's got that entrepreneurial spirit and zero morals, and who also might not have the computer skills necessary to take pictures of stuff on their phone and then list it for sale on a website, they can make money in a number of ways. The first thing they can do would be to take the products they steal to somebody else who wants to sell them online. They could also unload them from a suitcase and sell them themselves if they want to. Or in the case of food, they could take this food to a nearby deli or bodega. That's why the ice cream is locked up. It gets stolen and then gets transported to another store where it then gets resold. This happens with clothes as well. There was a quote-unquote cosmetics store that was selling stolen goods from stores like Macy's, and it existed around the corner from Macy's in a physical location where customers could walk in. And they had stolen items from pretty much every store. Macy's, Nordstrom's, all of it in their store, some of it with the same tags that it had on it in the store that it was taken out of. And when you hear about stuff like that, and then you go to a store like this and you see things like ice cream behind bars, and when you see the vans of products parked in middle-class neighborhoods that are like miniature shopping malls that can drive away when the police show up, the full reality of New York's predicament when it comes to theft starts to emerge. It's so big, no store can stop it. And we're at a point now where anything that can be stolen will be stolen and taken somewhere else for profit. And obviously none of this security is a deterrent whatsoever, because you can have as many police and as many National Guard troops as you want. A store like this in a well-guarded area, it's still gonna have to lock things up because criminals just don't care. They know that if they wait long enough inside the store, an opportunity will arise for them to take something that's not theirs and then run off. It's terrible. And right,
they're having to waste army men to protect a store, and they don't even have the rights to protect it because the laws are so bad.
Right now, we've got criminals with hundreds of arrests just wandering our streets, looking for new opportunities to do the thing that they've done hundreds of times already. They're the reason a brand new Walgreens and a brand new...
They have messed up. Oh my freaking God. Beyond stupid.
New train station still has to lock everything up, even though it's surrounded by people in full military dress. And is Amazon partly responsible for this? Absolutely. They gain new customers every single day. Somebody walks into a place like this and has to wait longer than they want to buy something that they know is already overpriced. But the reality here is that without new laws that criminalize crime once again in this city, more of our stores are going to shut down.
It's just laws. Amazon could clear all of it. But it would take a lot of effort to find every single one who's doing it. And it'll cost a lot of money to go through Amazon and all these places to clear all these crimes, because there'll be more of them. Crush one cockroach, 1,000 comes out of the woodwork. The only way to stop it is to put these people behind bars, and when they do get out of jail, if they do this too many times, they go to prison for the rest of their life, because they're just a waste of space. Because at that point, they're just a thief and they don't care about no one. They don't even care about their own darn family members. They don't care about their mom. They don't care about their dad. They don't care about no one except their self. They're not willing to work a regular job, do a good darn work. They're a waste of space and a waste of everything. Oh, they need it. Don't steal. Go get a regular job. Work your ass off. I have in the past. I cannot work anymore. But you think it's going to stop me from working? No.
More pharmacies this year will close just like they did last year, and there will be even less places for people to buy basic things. And the quality of life for New Yorkers is going to go down, while the costs to live here go up as the remaining stores do even more to crack down on crime because our laws won't. What do you think about that? Should people who steal go to jail, or should we do something else? Let me know. Thank you.
People who steal should go to jail. After so much, life in prison. I recommend having to pay back all the debts. This would automatically clean it, because suddenly, let's say the thief has stole like 2 times. Like the first time, the second time he gets out of prison, he's going to have an ankle bracelet put on his leg. Instead of bail, we just put ankle bracelet on their legs, and they have to wear it. And they have to pay for the ankle bracelet. but it'll be a reduced amount. But if they walk into a store, automatically it will say you're going through. If they've stole from the certain store or some places, they'll be really stuck to what they need to do. I would recommend that way because it now means they steal, they're screwed. Have fun dealing with the cops after. Hey, if you want to steal, go ahead. I would say ankle bracelets, so it makes your life a living age all your life because you have messed it up.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.